Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing really well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good to
So,
see you again.
yes,
Yeah.
it's nice seeing you too. I love walking into your store. You guys have expanded a lot and you have so much potential and you already have some amazing, amazing crystals that I absolutely love seeing. So,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah.
I hold on to my favorite.
What's that you have there?
That's a golden healer crystal. This is basically quartz with
Do you mind?
golden healer. Yeah, you can hold it.
Okay.
Um,
Show the camera.
so
Whoop.
these are really great healing. This is a crystal that is a master healer. So for
Oh.
me and some of the things that I suffered from, um, I will hold this and I keep it wherever I go.
Hmm.
And I told someone I even put it on my dinner table when I'm eating just to protect me. And I do sleep. I put it in my pillowcase underneath, of course. Don't want to sleep on top of that. But this crystal has brought a lot of vivid dreams,
Mm.
like very lucid. Like, oh, okay, didn't need to know all that, but yes, I did.
Okay. So what I'll have you do is give me a tour around your store when
Sure.
we're done with our little interview here,
Okay.
and maybe you can show me some other crystals that you're interested in.
Absolutely.
That you like at least. All right, so tell me your story. How did you like? Tell me about the day that you or the moment that you found out that you were psychic, that you
So
realized.
I always kind of knew younger
Hmm.
because I would just feel things, or I would be able to, like, I'd hear something, or I would walk into a place and be like, I've already been here. I've already done this. And it was full on conversations that I had. So even as a child, I'd be like, I already had this conversation. Like, what is this? So I used to talk about those things with family or whatnot, and that was a no no.
Was it
So
religious family or
yeah, so that
okay?
was a no no. So I'm like, okay, so I kind of squashed that. As I got older and I was able to break some of those agreements that I had,
Mm.
some of those things that were set for me that no longer served me, I started to venture out into my own. And probably about 20, I don't know, late 20s, almost 30. And I had always been kind like reading just on the side or just still having the same feelings or same things happening to me.
Hmm.
And then I really kicked in when I was in my 20s. And I started reading a lot. I actually had another shop that I actually worked for. And I did that for a couple of years. And after that, about 2 years there. And then after that, I had left, um, and life got in the way. I started going down the pathway that I was in, or I was told I had to go down.
Hmm.
Get a job, do these things, do those things, right? You have to do this, and you have to do that, and I followed that pathway.
Hmm.
As miserable as it made me, I just accepted that that was what you do. But it was always here. It never goes away, no matter how hard. And then I was told it was bad and all these horrible things. And I told my spirits and guide, and I said, please, I don't, I don't want that anymore, right? I don't want that. And it was gone for the most part. It happened every once in a while, and then I met someone, and we were talking, and I said, I can do that. I've done that, right? And so we were sitting there, and we were doing it, and I was just helping, random
Hmm.
people doing some things. And let me tell you, um, it was known to many people, like literally in a conversation. Hey, he does tarot readings, and I'm just like, oh no, 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 you didn't. No, you did not do that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like when it really came back full force.
Hmm.
Um, so I've known since I was a kid,
Yeah.
um, but I've really kind of opened myself spiritually more now, where I don't confine myself to a specific set of belief. Nothing wrong with that. I, everyone has their right to do what they choose. But when I really fully open myself spiritually and let go of some of those things in my past,
Hmm.
religious norms, things like that, um, I see the world as a whole different. Maybe I see it the same as you, maybe I don't, but or maybe I see it in some say rose-colored glasses. Um, I don't believe that. I believe that I see the universe as it was intended to be.
Right. I like that. So let's go back for a second. The friend that kind of outed you in this party
Hmm.
in front of everyone, that kind of technically started
Right.
your tarot card journey. Do you feel like that in a way was, a blessing, or do you think that maybe you could have taken a little bit more time to hone your abilities before being thrown in there?
Of course, I always feel that you can hone your abilities.
Hmm.
You can continue to work with them and develop them. You can read book after book.
Hmm.
But the only real way to do it, no matter how scared I was or anyone would be,
Hmm.
is you just have to do it. And as scared as I was when that person said, "Hey, he does tarot readings," I'm like, "Oh God, here we go." Um, I'm grateful,
Hmm.
I guess is what I would say. Even though I rip him on it all the time, I am grateful because it did kickstart me again.
Hmm.
It's like, look, if you want to do this, and I think it was Spirit's way of saying, you're ready for this and it's time. And I'm just like, and I've noticed this with a lot of people too, is we tend to judge time when we're ready.
Hmm.
But when Spirit in the universe is like, yo, it's time to, you know, get a move on things, it's going to happen. And that's what happened.
Okay. So let's go back to when you first started reading tarot cards. And tarot cards, in my opinion, is probably one of the most popular tools for
Mm-hmm.
psychic people to use, right? When you first started pulling cards, et cetera, what is some of the things that you found that were a little bit of a struggle when you sat down with someone during your sessions?
So during sessions, a lot of times people will come in, sometimes with very vague questions. Can you tell, or they'll be like, when will this happen? And my immediate response is, when the divine wants it to happen. Well, when is that? When divine wants it to happen. Well, when is that? I don't know. But if I get anything along the way, I'll
Hmm.
tell you. So there's always that. That's a major question. A lot of times, struggling where someone may look at you, or they'll just be like, "Tell me about my future," or "Tell me what so and so is thinking." I hate to break it to you, I'm not a mind reader. Can't read a mind. I don't know what so and so is thinking. But what I can tell you is what so and so's energy is going through,
Hmm.
right? And through tarot, one of the things that many people may or may not understand is it's a story. And it tells your story and your energy and those that are associated to you if they come through.
Hmm.
So as I'm sitting here and I'm telling stories, some people will be like, I don't understand. Or no, that's not happening. Or no, that hasn't happened. And I says, well, what spirit says here is this is going to happen or has happened and you're not connecting with it just now. Go home, go look back through your reading, and then tell me what you see or tell me what you don't see still. And then come back to me, you know, maybe within the next month or two or three. I always like to say three because it gives a very even, everything happens in threes to me.
Hmm.
So it's like if I see present, future, that means between now and 3 months. If I see a more distant future, it could be anywhere from 6 to 12. And one of the things I've noticed is that's a very hard thing for people to handle.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it'll happen in like I'm seeing, maybe it's going to happen possibly in 2024. Well, that's too long. And I think to myself, and this is where it's very hard being a reader because you want to be empathetic and tell someone you kind of like, well, you wanted the truth. So I gave you the truth, but you didn't like that truth.
Hmm.
And now I want to fix that. And not doing that is a hard thing for me because I want to fix it. I want to make it all sunshine and rainbows.
Right.
But if I'm not seeing you getting together with Bobby Sue, in 6 months, that's how long it's going to take,
Yeah.
plus or minus a month or two. It's like, I can't tell you, well, you'll be with Bobby Sue in 2 months because that's not what I saw. And then you come back and you're upset because I sugarcoated you, right? Or I made your reading to appear to what you wanted to hear. it's hard to give news that people don't like,
Mm.
right? And with today, I always feel people want here, now, instant. When someone says, "Well, I love him or her and or them, and I love it, and I want them to come back," will they come back? Well, yeah, they'll come back. Well, when? Says, well, according to Spirit showing me, it's going to be a few months. Oh, that's too long. And my immediate thought is, but you just told me that you love them. So to me, love doesn't have a time frame.
Mm-hmm.
If you truly, honestly love them with all your heart, right? Then it doesn't matter if it's a week, 5 weeks, 10 months. It doesn't matter. They're coming back. And getting people to understand that, I think, is one of the hardest things since
Mm-hmm.
the beginning of reading,
Yeah.
even to readings I did this morning.
Mm-hmm. So speaking on that, let's consider the fact that actually I'm going to bring up something else.
Sure.
Entertainment. Unfortunately, it's the entertainment industry that has morphed the views of people
Right.
before they decide to get readings or people's views on psychic
Mm-hmm.
mediums, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what's a good criteria, or what's a list of things that people can consider before they finally decide to get a psychic medium reading?
The first thing you got to consider is to keep an open mind,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you're going in there, and in fact, I talked with my wife about this yesterday, is when you come in closed. If you came to me and you before you walked in the room and you're like, oh, no, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to believe anything he says. I just want, this is fun, whatever. I don't care. And you come in with a closed mind, your reading will be so skewed. It may not even make sense because that's what you projected, right? So when people are looking for things, or come with a pertinent question, not an open ended question. So if you're asking me, like, when will Bobby Sue come to be with me? Well, why don't we change that question? And it will be, what are some of the things that I should look for should Bobby Sue return? Or what are some of the things that I can do for myself to make myself a, to make myself in my highest good,
Mm-hmm.
so I can level up or pay the price for Bobby Sue?
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that I want to share with you, because it's something I learned. And as we're talking about it,
Mm-hmm.
is a lot of people like, well, I'm not good enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm not, or how come Bobby Sue doesn't love me? Because if you're up here, your price tag is so much more, and they're down here, and they're not willing to pay your price. That's not on you. That's on them.
Mm-hmm.
They would rather live at that lower level or vibrate at a lower frequency. You can't go down. And that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people will go down to meet that person in hopes that they can push them up. But you can't push a person up if they don't want to be pushed.
Right.
So it's like, I'm here. If you want to be with me, or you want something with me, or maybe it's a job, promotion, whatever it is, you vibrate at the level you deserve,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you feel you deserve $5 an hour, that's what you're going to get.
Right.
If you believe that you deserve $35 an hour, guess what? You're going to get $35 an hour. May it show that in a paycheck? No, it may. I don't know that. But what I do know is that if you believe in yourself and you vibrate at the higher level, and I
Mm-hmm.
think from experience
Mm-hmm.
that you can manifest anything,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Um, any life you want.
So it seems like there's like a certain level of therapy that comes with being a psychic do you
There is.
yeah, do you find that you're also learning certain things from your customers or your guests whenever you're doing a reading?
I take a lot away from my readings.
Mm,
A lot of things that maybe I'm like, I'm not alone. Like, I feel that. Like, I feel that way sometimes. And it's easy for me to help people, to say, I know what you're going through. I know what it's like when your girlfriend leaves, or your boyfriend ghosts you, right? I know what that feels like. And then it's about helping them understand. A lot of people, and I had a reading, And I said, and the person said, well, what about what, I said to this person, well, what did I do? And I says, well, that's your number one problem. What did I do? When that person told you it's not you, it's me,
Hmm.
you immediately changed that and made it about yourself. Why did you do that? And they thought about that. And I said, so when you took his truth and saying, look, I'm not ready, or I just don't want this. It's not you, it's me. You're great, right? You wanted to fix it. And that's what we want to do. That's what we do as humans mostly, is fix things. Because everything in this world to people is broken. And it's not. You get people coming, I'm broken. I said, no, you're not. You're perfect. No, man, I'm not perfect. You are perfect. What is not perfect is your perception of who you are.
Hmm.
Again, if you believe you're broken, you're broken. You believe that you are perfect in every way, but you do have mistakes because that's why you chose to come to this world,
Hmm.
to be, put into a human body, to experience emotion, to experience pain, suffering, loss, grief, happiness, joy, jubilation, whatever. You chose these things. And yeah, I just lost track of where I was. See what happened?
No, that was actually perfect. That's called flow for you.
Yeah.
Spirit was definitely speaking through you, and someone's gonna hear that and they're gonna be like, okay, thank you for that
Yeah.
message. Someone needed to hear that. So, let's talk about some of the things that you have taken from your reading. Something that you feel has given you a reason to continue doing it.
When people come back and they say to me, or and I'm not a person that brags or anything like that,
Hmm.
right? But when someone
But
oh, no, 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 but I just share what people say,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And people have told me, wow, thank you, or you know I needed to hear that.
Hmm.
I had someone go, you know what, look, I came in for a reading and we just talked. I am so grateful for that because I needed
Hmm.
that. It's those kind of things. When people come back and say, thank you so much. I had a client that came in and I helped them. I keep things very vague because
Hmm.
I don't like to, for me, it's an integrity thing, right?
Absolutely.
But I helped this person. And this person called me up the next day crying, saying, thank you. And I'm like, I didn't do anything. They said, no, thank you. What you did for me, no one's ever done. I'm like,
Mm.
I didn't do anything. Can't take credit for it. All I did was show you where you are, where you've been, what's ahead, and how to get there. It's you did it all. You took the actions, not me. And it's those times that I like make me feel so good about what I do.
Hmm.
But as you know, there's also the bad things.
Of course. Yeah.
And it's in those times I think that I have to share because, like I said, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. I've been told horrible things. Um, and they've knocked my confidence at times. So being a reader is as much as I love it. And I'm grateful for it because it's the only thing I do,
Hmm.
right? Besides shop, which all ties in. But I manifested this life because I wanted this life, no matter what I've been told, right? Whether it's you're horrible or you're wonderful, I learned something along this line, and I've been doing just straight readings and this business since God, I think it was 2021 is when um, it all kicked off,
Hmm.
where I no longer work a regular job, um, or for somebody else. How's that? When I started this, I'm so grateful for it, and I learned that you know what, I don't care anymore what people think. Um, I do get shocked from time to time, like blah blah blah. I'm like, wow, like hmm, that hurt. Then I remember something. It's like I don't have an agreement with you. Me and you, like client, me, right?
Hmm.
Me, client, I don't have a relationship with you. I have a relationship in that time frame. Whether that's positive or negative, that's your your decision, right? But I won't give you the key to my emotional car anymore.
Mm.
I have broken so many agreements. And people don't understand what I mean by that. Look, we all have agreements with who we feel we should be, or who others think that we should be, or how we should be in society.
Hmm.
That's not an agreement I made. I didn't say I would agree to that. I said I agree to abide by your rules, but that doesn't mean that I have to change who I am to fit, right? And everybody, and I know it sounds weird to say, but I see so many people now in a different view. Like I see people are like, oh yeah, I hate my job. And immediately I'm like, then change it.
Hmm.
What are you waiting for? I can't do that right now. No, you won't do that right now. You can do anything you want to. Manifesting doesn't work. Don't get me started. You know as well as I do why that is the biggest lie I've ever heard. Manifesting doesn't work. You know. I
Yeah.
know. It's just getting people to this level to
Hmm.
open up spiritually,
Hmm.
right? And if they can do that, telling everyone that the world is so much more than what you think it is, right? It's not all about money or fame, right? It's about living your highest self. To someone, $5 a day is like more money than I had in a week, right? Ever. To some, it's $5,000 a day. It doesn't matter. Maybe it's just walking in and a friend coming up to you and saying, you know what, I missed you. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe it's just you paying it forward. I talk to people all the time. What are you doing to pay your, how much gratitude are you really showing?
Mm.
Because it's all about, I'm struggling with this, I'm dealing with that. Are you grateful for that? Why would I be grateful for a struggle? Because it teaches you how to be better, right? That's what struggles are. They're lessons, they're opportunities. And I think it's Spirit's way of keeping us humble and showing gratitude. Say, okay, your phone don't work today, but I need my phone. I'm so grateful I have a phone, right?
Hmm.
So grateful. And yeah, it's ticking me off because it doesn't work. I'm still grateful knowing that I can either A, if I have to, the universe will provide me a new one, or it'll start working. You have to be grateful for the moment, every second of every day, because it could be gone like that. I know that's very cliche, but it's truth. Be grateful for, the clothes you wear.
Hmm.
Maybe you don't like them. Maybe they're old, right? We want something new, right? Because we're so focused on that as people. Being the best isn't just about the things you wear. It's about this, right? As long as you got this, and you got gratitude in your life,
Hmm.
I'm the richest person in the world.
Wow. It's everything you just said is so beautiful, and I was so engrossed in it that I completely forgot my next question.
Sorry about
So
that.
no, no, it was actually amazing. So let's talk about people who are just starting their spiritual journey. Like they are awakening, they're starting to question everything. Like you said, people look different to them. People are also looking different,
Hmm.
and the environment in general is seeming different. What would you say to them? What's some advice that you can give them?
Be prepared, right? Understand that there are people in your life now
Hmm.
that probably won't be there. It could be your best friend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife, right? Your partner. It could be your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, right? Be prepared to cut people and for them to drift away.
Hmm.
Because as you continue to, again, raise your rate of pay, and I'm not talking dollars,
Hmm.
when you continue to raise that vibrational level, and people are like, I don't like you. Good. I don't like you either, right? Because you don't serve me anymore, and I don't serve you. I had to learn, and this is one thing I think was so strategic or so helpful to me was I don't owe you anything. And you don't owe me anything, right? I don't answer to you. I don't have to answer to you. If I don't like you, I don't like you. And that's my truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what people have to understand. You don't have to force yourself to like someone just because it's what your family wants. I don't like you. I don't like you. I have no problem saying, look, I don't like you. Nothing personal. I don't like you. I don't like your energy, right? And that's something that when you raise your level and your frequency, you're going to see people that you don't like. And it could be someone that you've been best friends with for 50, 10, 20 years. And you look at them and you're like, God, why? Why did I waste my time? You didn't waste time. You needed that person to help you understand
Mm-hmm.
what it is that you want out of life. I look at certain people in my life, right? Or people that were in my life. And I watch them drop out, right? And I see people that I went to high school with still making some of the stupidest comments I've ever seen. And I'm like, I'm up here.
Mm-hmm.
You're down there. Wish that you can see what life is like up here. You got to want this life,
Mm-hmm.
right? It doesn't come to you just like that. We talked a lot about manifesting and how things do come to us,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you have to work. I'm more busy now opening myself spiritually than I've ever been because I'm always doing something, whether it's manifesting, um, reading, working, right? Doing things that I want to do
Mm-hmm.
with my life.
Just being happy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there are times where it's like, oh God, I really probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But the main, the focus of the question is that, well, what can you do to prepare yourself for this?
Mm-hmm.
The answer is nothing. Just
Yeah.
be open. You know what? Look, I knew someone, and I'm just like, I don't really want you in my life anymore,
Mm.
and that person's gone, and it hurt.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm good now.
It's such a tough thing because right now that is really popular, especially in social media. People just ghosting or
Yeah.
cutting people off because they're at a new level. I feel like there is something to say about growing with someone as well, and you
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily need to be friends,
Right.
being close with them, but maybe even keeping them at an arm's distance, but allowing them to see you in at your highest good.
Mm-hmm.
At you growing yourself kind of also rubs off on them in a way. And I
Right.
want to go back to the example that you used where you mentioned having a friend for a long period of time and this person no longer looking the same or
Mm-hmm.
seeming the same, right? Um, I feel like, in a way, not only are you seeing yourself in a new light, but you're also showing something different that they can see, that they can also start taking something from that. So, at what point, my question is, at what point do you draw the line between growing and doing what you need to do and protecting your energy ultimately,
Mm-hmm.
or being too judgmental?
Right. And that's another hard thing too.
Yeah.
Because it's like I don't want to judge somebody. I don't want to judge, a person. But if I know, and you'll know when this person is taking and sucking you like a vampire,
Right.
and you come home and you're like, I'm so freaking tired.
And it's usually the same thing over and
Yeah.
over again,
And
never
it's just
ending.
like
Yeah.
that keeps repeating itself.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see them do things that you're like, what are you doing? And you think to yourself, like, I did that. I used to do that all the time. And then you see, and I hate to use this because I don't mean to sound biased or judgmental, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like, man, how sick and twisted are you? Like, I look at people today and I can't tell people that, but I'm like, what a miserable life you must lead to hurt somebody like that.
Mm.
Because when people hurt people, when people ghost people,
Mm-hmm.
when people gaslight or become narcissists,
Mm-hmm.
right? The two popular words of this decade
Yeah,
is
it's a
gaslighting
buzzword.
and narcissism, right?
Yeah.
Two words I hear constantly. When people do those things, they're doing it to get a reaction. But when you are here, it's like, okay, no problem. Immediately, the old me, just to kind of share a little bit personal, the old me probably would have turned around and did the same thing back.
Mm.
Okay, you want to play? Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I can match your level. I stopped. And there are times I still want to do that because it's like, okay, well, you hurt me, so I have to get something out of it, right? I'm like, but I don't need to hurt you back
Mm-hmm.
because me walking away from you, right? And this is again a cliche thing, but me ending the relationship or cutting the cord or simply just saying, you know what, see your way out in my mind and manifesting that, see your way out, right? I don't
Yeah.
I don't need it, and that person always falls away.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. I think the main thing to get at is it's not you that's doing the hurt. And if it is, I'm sorry for you
Mm-hmm.
because your karmic debt will come. You will suffer karmic debt, no matter who you are.
Yep, that's true.
If you put out good, I know it's cliche, but if you put out good, you're going to get good. If you treat others unfairly, then that's what you'll get treated
Yeah.
like. And when people come to me all the time and say, well, what did I do to deserve that? I don't know. What did you do? Because there's something that you did do,
Yeah.
right? Maybe you said something that hurt that person and you did it with intention.
Mm-hmm. So speaking on that, and what was my question? Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me try to pull it out of the ether.
Yeah,
Let's see.
it's there.
I know it's there. Ah, and this is the kind of interesting thing about interviewing people because I get so engrossed in what you're saying
Mm-hmm.
and I'm listening, and then my question's like,
It's okay. I get so engrossed in what I'm saying, I lose track of where I was.
yeah. So it's about being a psychic again. Oh, I think what you just mentioned, everything that you just said, actually makes it more complicated when you are a psychic person
Mm-hmm.
and you're an empath and you're feeling all these emotions and feelings from everyone else. What are some of the things that you do to one protect yourself, your energy, and also strengthen your psychic abilities? So that you could
So,
make yourself more aware of those things.
so I used to look at books, and I still do, but a book is only going to take you so far. It's about human experience, right?
Hmm.
And that's how I hone my skill. Constantly reading, constantly just building up, and I have boundaries, right? I know what I need and what I'm worthy of every day, and when I hit that, then I say, okay, I can either keep going if I want to, or I don't have to. So number one, I think the most important thing is to protect, set a boundary, but set a boundary that you deserve,
Hmm.
not just like, oh, I'm tired, so I'm going to quit. No, if I need to do X amount of readings, then I'm going to do everything I can to make X amount of readings. If I don't, and it's the end of the night and it's 9, 10 o'clock, that's my time.
Hmm.
Whether or not I met my goal, it was a boundary that said I would stay within that goal. I may not have hit it, but I also had two boundaries. I had a high, this is what I need, right? I have a medium, well, this is where I ended. Maybe it's above, maybe it's at, or maybe it's a slightly below,
Hmm.
right? And then I have a bottom line. That bottom line is when it comes down to my time later at night or time to spend with my partner, that's it. My wife, right? That's our time. I'm getting off, right? No more work. And that's it. So you have to set a boundary. That's number one in protecting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I'm a strong believer in crystals. Of course, you've seen this one. This is my own selenite, which lays right in the middle of my chest. Um, Black obsidian, which is going to keep that negative energy out. Um, and I mean, there's so many things
Mm-hmm.
out there that I can show you, and we can talk very briefly about. But protect yourself that way too with crystals. Protect yourself with your own energy. You know, picture that white light around you always, right?
That's a
No
big one.
matter
Yeah.
where you go, you need to have this light around you. And it doesn't have to be like, whatever you say to me bounces off to you, right? Sticks like glue, right? You know that saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like if you come at me, you won't get close enough to me, right? And anything you say to me has absolutely no effect if it's a negative thing. Sometimes it does get through. Because look, that's what life is, right? And that's, again, it's okay to get hurt. That's what people
Mm-hmm.
understand. It's okay because you learned. Okay.
That's interesting that you said that it's okay to get hurt, because I think we get so caught up with protection and making sure that the evil energy, the dark energy, doesn't get us. But in a way, I mean, how would we know that we need protection if we weren't feeling that at some point? You know.
Exactly.
So,
If everything was, again,
mm-hmm.
sunshine and rainbows, well, there's no need to
How
protect
you gonna learn
yourself.
from it? Yeah.
And you're going to go on living this beautiful life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boring, but beautiful, right? So it's okay to get hurt. It's okay to feel pain. It's okay to cry. It's okay to let go, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the hardest thing is we're always, as people that are unenlightened, right? Or maybe not as high on the spiritual journey or don't understand that part, right? When you open yourself up to this journey, you just have to be prepared. I know I'm going back a question, but you just have to be prepared for what you're going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
But even in loss, there's positivity. Okay, so I lost Betty Sue because, well, she's not a nice person. But I gained, you know, Jesse, right? And Betty's over here and Tammy's up here. I'm flocking towards people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you have such a bright energy or a bright
Okay.
light,
Camera check. All right.
it's okay. When you have such a bright light or a bright energy, be prepared for those vampires to come out. Friends, family members, looking to suck you dry of your energy. Because like a moth to a flame, right? They see it, they want it, and they want to take it. And you'll know when they want to take it. Because they'll just be like everything is about them. And they'll just be like, oh, I want to do this. No, I want to do that. And then it's up to you what you choose to do, right? You can either give them the energy or you can say, no, I'm not down with that,
Mm-hmm.
right? But be prepared. It's so, and I keep hearing that from spirit right now. Just be prepared because through darkness comes change, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the phoenix in the ashes story, right? Phoenix falls and burns, and from the ashes rises the new phoenix, right? We learn lessons like that of, you know, Icarus, right? Do you ever follow Greek mythology? Icarus is the one with the wings that flew too close to the sun, even though he's told not to do that. His arrogance led him to that sun, and he burned and he fell,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he learned, right? We learn through breakups, we learn through fights, arguments. You're gonna have a lot of them. You're just gonna. But every time I have an argument or a fight or something doesn't agree with me, I used to get mad and angry, and then fight back. And sometimes I still have to fight back because look, just because I'm spiritual doesn't make me not a human, right? So sometimes I do have to fight back. because it's necessary. But I try to look at every opportunity and why is it happening? Why is it here? What did what did I do? Or what didn't I do? Or what should I have done? That's human. But when we look at it and say, why is this happening? What was my part? What was their part? And what is the truth? Maybe I said, that dress doesn't look so nice on you. When in all actuality, I should have said, that dress looks beautiful on you. But that's sugarcoating it, right? That's not what I felt. But maybe I said it wrong. Maybe I said, that dress, it looks great, right? But I'm not sure it's the right dress for you.
It's still kind of dark, though.
It is. I try to, or just say something like,
I understand what you mean, though.
you really, or take it as a question. Oh, how do I look in that dress? Well, how do you feel you look in that dress?
Maybe that dress in blue would look better with
Yeah.
It'll match your eyes if it was in blue.
Right.
I don't know.
Try to be positive.
Yeah.
Give somebody a positive with a negative. I always tell people, don't come to me with a problem. Right? If you have a problem, come to me with a problem and a solution. And then maybe that solution isn't working, so you need help understanding that. That's what we do as readers. We help you with those solutions. But oftentimes people will come to me with a problem with no solution.
Right.
And expect me to do the work for you. That, my friends, is an energy vampire. You do the work.
Interesting.
It's not my problem.
Let's see. What would you say to someone who is struggling strengthening their psychic abilities right now? Like they feel stuck, they've been trying, they've done all the little activities on TikTok that people see, and maybe they even have a spiritual teacher that they're following. What could you say to them if they really just aren't hitting the nail on the head?
We're all going to go through those times as spiritual beings. We all get blocked, right? The universe, what this is, right? Don't give up. Maybe you're not resonating with that person or that video or that thought or that action, right? Think of something else. Go to the next video. Find somebody else that you may resonate with better. But don't just give up, because it's not that you're not worthy of doing it. It's not your time. Just because I want $10,000 doesn't mean that I'll never get it, because I will. That's what I deserve, right? But will I get it tomorrow? I don't know. Maybe. But just because I don't doesn't make me unworthy, right? So when oftentimes we are struggling, right, what can you do? I do a lot of frequency music, meditation.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that.
With crystals.
Just whenever you're struggling with anything, it's always good to just stop
for
a certain period of time and then come back to it later.
Yeah.
It'll always look different, it'll always be a lot easier. When it comes to like me personally, other than just stopping and coming back later, what also helps is meditating, like you said.
Right.
And that just allows me to hear and feel certain things that I might not have felt because I was so frustrated.
Right.
Because I was so focused on it. And also I noticed one of the things with me, and I know a lot of other people do this as well, is comparison to other already, seemingly more experienced psychic teachers. And who knows? The question is, who knows how long, how many wounds they've healed, how much shadow work they've done to get to where they are. So when you're comparing yourself to them, you're skipping all over all that experience, all that history that they have, and you're saying I should be at their level. And the question is like, why? And who knows exactly what that looks like?
Right.
Everyone has different abilities. Everyone's abilities look a different way. So it's just something to say about that. Just stop comparing yourself.
Yeah, that's not your story.
Exactly.
You know, if we all were intended to live the same story, again, what a boring life we live, right? That's not your story. And I'm guilty. I've done it many times,
Yeah, I think we all do. Yeah.
right? Because we want to be that, or we want to emulate that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then emulate it, but it's you. Maybe you're not. You know, maybe you see someone who's like, oh my God, look at how well they do, right? With Reiki, right? So I want to do that. And you just don't get it. Well, I'm never going to be as good as them. It's not your journey, it's not your path, right? I consistently always ask to be the better version of myself and the highest version, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people that. Be the highest version of you. So I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
What does your highest version of yourself look like?
Oh, the highest version of me is complete and unadulterated love, love of everyone and love for myself.
Right.
And it sounds so easy to say that, like it's like an easy goal, right? But it's so not. No, it
No.
is not at all, because of everything I just mentioned to you, on top of so many different things.
Mm-hmm.
We are conditioned to believe certain things in our life, because of, like you said, agreements. I love the way that you explain that. It's like
Mm-hmm.
perfect, because we do have agreements
Right.
that we never agreed on, right? And because of that, what happens is we end up, if we don't reach these agreements, and we don't get to this area in our life that we're supposed to get to, we
Mm-hmm.
end up disliking ourselves,
Right.
and then it just becomes a downward spiral, domino effect. But ultimately, my highest level, my highest version of myself is absolute and unconditional love.
Right. Where there are no strings, no quid pro quo,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
It's just I give and you give,
Yep.
right? Um, and I like that because that's, I think, something we all strive to be or do. But you nailed it right on the head. It's the hardest thing to do. It's something I've had to learn and grow with. I'm grow every day, just like you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always growing to, again, be authentic. That's another thing.
It's so funny that you said authentic, because right when you said that, I was thinking be okay with being vulnerable as
Yes.
well, which is being authentic, being able to say, I don't have it all figured out.
No.
I am not, right now, I'm not like this amazing psychic person that
Right.
knows everything. I don't have all the answers to your questions,
And you never will.
and you never, exactly. So being able to say that is also being vulnerable.
Right.
And, so I like that,
To
being authentic.
say and to believe,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you say something, I learned this along the way on my spiritual. I mean, I have learned so much on this spiritual journey. It's crazy. We could probably be here for hours. One of the things I learned is that when you write a word down,
Mm-hmm.
right, and you are writing each letter, what are you doing? I don't know how to really say this. Or do you remember back in school, you're like, I don't know how to blank that word. And then they say, well, if you want to know the blank, sound it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's that word? Starts with an S if you need help.
Are you referring to spelling, or? Oh, this is I'm sorry, I didn't realize this was a question.
Well, yes,
Okay.
it's something of a question.
Okay.
The reason I brought that up
Okay.
is every word you speak,
Mm-hmm.
every word or sentence or paragraph or every monologue, everything we've done here, we have spelled,
Yeah.
because that's why they call it spelling.
Yep.
Because words are far more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think it's called spells, right?
Exactly.
Or spelling?
When I heard that the first time, when I tell you, my mind was completely blown. And I
Yeah.
was just like, and it makes so much sense, because you've heard of watch what you say,
Yes.
because you could actually manifest it no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we like it or not, we are manifesting.
Oh, yeah.
You just want to manifest the good things, right?
Right.
So, and that also is a part of the spelling, or I'm sorry, not spelling, but saying it out loud,
Right.
and even writing it down.
You're
That's all
speaking it.
energy. Exactly. Yeah.
And, all truth aside, right? This is
Mm-hmm.
the honest truth. I remember one day I was having a bad day. And I said, can it get any worse?
Oh
And
no.
you want to know something? It got a lot worse. I did not get home from where I was taken to that day till 1 o'clock in the
Oh my
morning,
gosh.
and I had been up all day. And I had to explain what happened to my work. And at that point in time, I was working for a job, and I'm just like, man, this is embarrassing. But I had to explain it. So when you speak with intention.
Hmm.
And I try to teach that to my kids, try to teach this to everybody. Because, like, you talk to your boyfriend or girlfriend and you're in a fight, right?
Hmm.
With your partner, and you're like, you know what? I really hate you. Careful of that. You know, instead say something like, they're like, well, I don't like you. Well, that's okay. Because I don't like you right very much now either, right? So my kids that. Oh, I don't like you. I'm like, well, I don't like your attitude. So I don't like you either right now. Doesn't change how I feel. It's just in this moment, I don't like you right now.
I love you, but you're pissing me off.
Yeah, it's, but it's the fact that I don't want to speak. And
Hmm.
just the other day, one of our kids was just messing around and said something, and we're like, hey, no, don't ever speak that,
Yeah.
because you don't know, just because Joey over here is struggling, right? You don't know what's going on in Joey's life,
Hmm.
right? You don't know what Joey is suffering from, or what kind of environment Joey's in. Maybe his pain is manifesting outward, and he just needs someone to help instead of saying mean things,
Hmm.
right? So again, going back to agreements, right?
Hmm.
Being impeccable to your word. When you speak with integrity, right?
I love that.
And if you don't, if I'm gonna say, hey, Tanisha, look, you know, not to share too much, but at one point in time, there was someone that you had referred me to,
Hmm.
right? And it just didn't work.
Hmm.
And it was very hard for me to tell you that, because that's someone that you know,
Hmm.
right? And that you felt confident referring to me.
Hmm.
And we just didn't click. And it was hard for me to tell you that. But I had to tell you that, because it's like saying, I'm not going to lie to you, because then you're going to think everything is great. So, hey, look. And I appreciate the way you came back too at that time.
Hmm.
You're like, you know, you just didn't connect. It's cool,
Yeah.
right? And I think that people have to realize that just because they're your friend
Hmm.
or they're someone that you trust doesn't mean that they're going to work in our favor, right?
Absolutely.
And that's what's wrong with so many people. I'm not trying to group everybody. I'm just
Hmm.
saying, from what I've seen after an awakening, I see how people are so like, well, you said that, and now I don't like you.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
you know,
Or
or
you said this two
yeah,
years ago. Now you're changing your mind. It's like, was I supposed to update you
yeah.
or?
And it's like everybody is always looking for
Yeah.
the next bullet,
Hmm.
right? Like when I pull, it's like I swear you were living in Russian roulette,
Mm.
because we have to work with. If you're impeccable with your word, you have nothing to worry about, right? If you have integrity, you have nothing to worry about, right? People will come at you, but they can't step to you, right? Using today's terms, they can't step up to your level because they're down here. The only way they can get up here is to raise themselves. So when someone comes at you, they don't like you, or you said this, or you did that. How could you go to that place? I don't like that place. They rep or they support blah,
Hmm.
right? Whatever it is. How could you? How dare you go to that place?
Right.
I'm sorry. Do we have an agreement that I'm not to go here because you don't like it? I mean, I don't remember agreeing to that, but help me understand that, right? I stopped trying that.
Hmm.
I said, just because you don't doesn't mean I don't. And I don't have an agreement with you. And I want people to know that they can say that to people,
Yeah.
you know?
So what's everything looking like for you in the next couple years? I guess I would say maybe, but before the end of this year, we only have a couple more months left. What's going on?
Man, more more work, more spiritual journey work. You know, I've been working really hard on working on myself and healing myself from the inside, right? And doing the work that it takes to get there.
Hmm.
And man, there's a lot of stuff I let go. There's some stuff that I'm still struggling with.
Hmm.
So you're always what does this year look like? It was more growth, more growth.
I love that.
Um, what does the next year look like? Growth. Because I'm tired of answering that question. What is well no, because I hear it all the time and I used to answer
Really?
it the exact way. Well, what do you think? Well, I don't know, I'm gonna this year's been crazy, but next year will be better.
Hmm.
And then I can guarantee you I said the following year, man, well that year was bad. Next year.
Hmm.
Every year it's gonna get better, right?
Absolutely.
But we always come back and say, well, this year was bad. So stop saying that. So what do the years look like? I don't know. But whatever they look like, I'm going to be grateful for every moment. Whether
Perfect.
that's get more sleep, Lord knows I need it. I do more healing. My business grows, right? I'm so grateful for that. Um, I meet new people. I lose people, right? Whatever it is that the universe and spirit says it's yours,
Hmm.
or I'm taking that from you because you don't need it anymore, I'm not going to be the little kid in the candy store that cries.
Okay, so speaking of your shop, where can people find you? Where's this located?
So we're actually in the Seminole Town Center Mall, 150 Town Center Circle, Sanford, Florida, 32771. We're on the first floor, center court, behind the escalators. Um, so that's where we're
Okay. And how
at.
can people get readings from you if they're not in Florida?
So they can actually go ahead and they can give us a call, and they can book a phone reading, and we can go ahead and we can, process payment in many different ways to book readings. Um, and that's, or they can go on our website, they can email us, they can find us. Also, they can find me on Facebook, TikTok. TikTok's a little bit harder to get a hold of people.
Hmm.
I'm on IG. So there's ways of getting a hold of me.
Okay, and I'll put everything in the description as well
Yeah.
of this video.